Hello everybody. This is a video about relationships. No, I don't mean this kind of relationship, and I don't mean this kind of relationship, and definitely not this kind of relationship. This is the kind of relationships I'm talking about, relationships between two tables. In this example, the table on the left contains a list of customers, and the table on the right contains a list of cars. Right now, these two tables are not related. However, suppose one of the customers decides to buy that little red car on the right. Bingo. Now we got a relationship. This relationship may require that we would navigate through several tables in between in order to get from a customer record over to the car record, but they're related. This is called the relational database model, and in today's world it's represented by a series of related tables. Each table has columns in it, and another name for column is field or attribute. Each table contains rows, and another name for row is record or tuple. And most all tables have what they call a primary key. This is a field or several fields that uniquely identify each record in a table. It didn't always used to be this way. Back in the 1960s, we didn't have a commercially available relational database model. We had a hierarchical model, and this was developed by IBM, and it was called IMS. And a hierarchical model means that in order to travel from one table to the other, you always have to start at the very top of the model and then follow the different levels or layers down until you get to the table that you want to navigate to. These levels or layers form relationships, and we call them parent-child relationships. So in a hierarchical model, each child can have one and only one parent that's related to it. Well, after IBM's hierarchical model became commercially available, several companies jumped on the bandwagon and decided that they would create what is called a network model. And essentially, it is a hierarchical model. You have to start at the top and navigate down through the different layers and levels. But in this case, each child table can be related to more than one parent. Well, let's get back to relational database models. The relationships that you can create in today's database model, there are three kinds: one-to-one, one-to-many, and many-to-many. Let's take a look at each one of them here. First one is a one-to-one relationship, and in this example I have a table of instructors and a table of retirement plans, and for each instructor you can have one and only one retirement plan. For each retirement plan you can only have one and only one related instructor, and you can create this one-to-one relationship by setting it up for both tables to have the same primary key. The second kind of relationship, which is much more common, is the one-to-many relationship. And in this example, I have a table of instructors and classes. And each instructor teaches many classes, but each class is taught by one and only one instructor. Now you might be thinking, well, what about the different sections and different semesters and the 8-week classes? I don't want to complicate this example. This is just going to be an instructor can teach many classes, and each class is taught by one instructor. The way that you create this relationship is adding a foreign key to the classes table, and that foreign key is the same as the primary key in the instructor table. You might be wondering, well, why didn't you add the course name field into the instructor table? Well, there's an important rule here. Whenever you're designing a database, always put the foreign key on the many, M-A-N-Y, side of a relationship. The third kind of relationship is a many-to-many relationship, and in this example we have classes and students. Every class has many students registered in it, and each student can register for many classes. We can't relate these two tables directly. However, we can create a relationship between these two tables by adding a third table in between these two tables. And in this example, the third table is called the student class table, and it has what we call a concatenated key. The primary key in this case consists of two fields, the student number and the course name, which are the primary keys in the classes in the students table. So in other words, if you know both the student number and the course name, then you could look up the grade, for example. Okay, so we've looked at the three kinds of relationships in a relational database model. Here is what I want you to do. Now go out and work on your relationships.